China's intentions, as usual, aren't really so clear here, especially given the mystery transport flights that last week occurred. Several Boeing 747s were spotted leaving China for Iran, and their exact flight routes were kind of mysterious there.
China is secretly sending weapons to Iran, and it's starting to raise serious alarms across the world. Reports and tracking data show that Chinese cargo planes, particularly Boeing 747 freighters, have been flying towards Europe but mysteriously disappear from radar when they approach Iran. These planes turn off their tracking systems, which is a major red flag. Normally, only military or covert operations do this.
There are new concerns over mystery flights that have taken off from China headed for Iran, and it's raising questions on how China may be helping Tehran in the effort against Israel. Good person to have here on this issue. China expert Michael Pillsbury joins us this morning. Michael, what's your sense about this? What do you think's going on?
Experts believe that the planes are not headed to Europe at all, but rather are delivering military supplies to Iran. China claims to be concerned about the Israel-Iran conflict, but actions speak louder than words.
Ashley, good morning. There's been a string of reports over the last 2 or 3 years that China is up to something nefarious and evil. The problem is the reports all have always turned out to be false. There was a report, remember the laboratory that was discovered in California? There were 700 white mice, and supposedly they were going to inflict the Ebola virus on the Western United States, and the Chinese general supposedly had said, we want to occupy the Western United States.
The timing of these secret flights aligns with Iran's increasing missile strikes against Israel. One missile even hit a hospital in Tel Aviv early in the morning, causing massive damage, injuries, and chaos.
Chinese cargo planes have reportedly entered Iran after turning off their tracking devices. Flight plans indicated a final destination of Luxembourg, but the aircraft never flew near European skies. The Boeing 747 freighters are commonly used for transporting military equipment, according to aviation experts.
Iran says they were aiming for a nearby intelligence building, but satellite images and on-the-ground footage show that the hospital took a direct hit. It's hard to believe this was just superficial damage, as Iranian officials claim. These attacks show Iran's increasing missile capability, and that's where China might come in. If China is supplying Iran with weapons, possibly even advanced or nuclear-related equipment, it's a massive shift in the power balance in the Middle East. The flights were supposedly destined for Luxembourg, but none actually reached Europe. This kind of false data filing only makes things more suspicious. If it were just an evacuation of Chinese nationals, why lie about the destination and turn off the flight trackers? It all ties back to energy and money. China is Iran's largest buyer of oil and gas, often buying at discounted rates due to global sanctions on Iran. Iran's economy heavily depends on China. In return, China wants Iran to stay stable and strong, especially since Western powers like the US and Israel are trying to weaken the Iranian regime. It's not far-fetched to believe that China would quietly back Iran with military aid to protect its oil supply. And now we're seeing the result. Iranian missiles are striking deeper into Israeli territory and evading the Iron Dome defense system more effectively. Until recently, Israel was intercepting around 90% of incoming missiles. That number has now dropped to just 65%. Not only are the missiles faster, but Israel has less time to respond, only 6 to 7 minutes now. Compared to 10 to 11 minutes earlier. That kind of drop in effectiveness is scary. It means Israel is under greater threat, and their defenses are being worn out. Interceptors like David's Sling and the Arrow system cost up to $3 million per unit. US-provided systems can cost even more, up to $14 million per missile. If Iran continues to launch waves of missiles, Israel might run out of interceptors, and the cost will skyrocket. Meanwhile, inside Iran, Israel is carrying out airstrikes of its own. targeting missile sites and nuclear facilities. But this kind of back and forth only escalates the conflict. Iran's heavy water reactor has already been hit, and hundreds of Iranians have reportedly been killed. Human rights groups report 640 dead and over 1,400 wounded inside Iran due to Israeli strikes. At the same time, Iranian attacks have killed 24 people and wounded over 500 in Israel. The fear is that if China continues supporting Iran behind the scenes, the conflict could grow beyond the region. China's previous diplomatic moves, like getting Saudi Arabia and Iran to shake hands in Beijing, were seen as signs that China was expanding its influence in the Middle East. But now that Israel is hitting back and potentially exposing China's hidden hand, those efforts may fall apart. President Trump has weighed in, saying he'll decide within 2 weeks whether the U.S. will join Israel's strikes against Iran. He's staying vague for now, but talks between U.S. officials and Iranian leaders are happening quietly in the background. The U.S. has offered Iran a deal to move uranium enrichment outside their country.
2 Chinese aircraft landed in Iran under total radio silence. Chinese cargo aircrafts just vanished off radar before entering Iran. Its transponder was turned off midair right before entering Iranian airspace. Analysts suspect a covert mission, possibly military cargo or air defense systems. These planes may have been carrying military supplies like drones or radar parts, but there's no proof and no official statement, yet Iran hasn't commented. But this move raises serious questions. It's the same playbook used by America to refuel Israel jets. Follow PrimeScope for unfiltered and unbiased news.
But Iran has rejected it so far. In both Iran and Israel, governments are also clamping down on information. Iran has essentially shut off the internet to stop internal protests and prevent sensitive videos from leaking. Internet access has dropped below 10% compared to 90% before the war. On the other side, Israel has passed laws making it illegal to film or share footage of missile landings or air defense operations. These moves are about control, controlling the narrative, controlling the panic, and keeping war strategies hidden. This isn't just a typical war, it's turning into a war of attrition. Both sides are running out of critical supplies. Israel might run low on missile interceptors, while Iran's stockpile of ballistic and hypersonic missiles also isn't endless. If China is truly helping restock Iran, it could tip the balance dramatically. And that's what's so dangerous. It's no longer just about Israel and Iran, it's about global powers moving their chess pieces, China, the US, and possibly Russia, all getting involved in a hidden but high-stakes battle. Right now, everyone is watching. The world is holding its breath to see if Trump gives the green light for US military action. If that happens, we could see a full-scale regional war, and maybe even something bigger. The secret weapon shipments, the shadow diplomacy, the escalating attacks, all of it is pointing toward a potential explosion in the Middle East. Let's just hope it doesn't come to that. If you found this video informative, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any updates on this developing situation. We'll be following the story closely, and you won't want to miss what happens next.